Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Arjun. I haven't made a video in like 6 months, but I've just had so much stuff going on, and I keep saying that I'm gonna make more videos and be more consistent, but I've just been really bad at it for the past year or so. So I'm not gonna say anything like that right now. Hopefully I do, but we'll see what happens. But I'm back home for summer, so I've found a little bit of time to make some videos. So I'll probably have a few coming out in the next month or so, but I don't know how long I'll be able to keep up. But I wanted to start off this summer, I guess. For me at least, I got a chance to watch Supergirl. Now, before I get started talking about Supergirl, let me know down in the comments if you guys got a chance to watch it. What did you think about this movie? What were your expectations going into it? And if you haven't seen it yet, are you planning on seeing it, or did the reviews sour you on it? I'd love to know your thoughts. With that said, I'm gonna get started talking about what I thought about it. And to me, Supergirl, this was a movie I was actually really excited for. It was, I think, in my top 15, maybe top 20 most anticipated of the year. I was really interested in seeing it because I enjoyed Superman. I'm not as high on it as some people are. I think it's a really good movie. I don't think it's top tier. I don't think it's great. I don't think it's fantastic, but it's a really good movie to me. And I think it's a solid start for the DC universe. I also have an interesting relationship with DC in general. I'm a pretty big fan of what Snyder did with DC. I think Man of Steel is really good. I love Zack Snyder's Justice League. A little lower on Batman versus Superman, but regardless, generally speaking, I enjoyed the EU as well. But when James Gunn was announced as the new lead for the DC universe, I was excited for it and I was hoping for the best. With Superman, I thought we were off to a good start. I also really liked Creature Commandos, but then you started getting into Peacemaker, which I thought was a really weird season, at least the second one. The first season is not really part of the DC universe, so I'm not counting that. Now with Supergirl, I went in with pretty solid expectations, and I was even looking forward to a new flavor in the DCU because it's a new director, Craig Gillespie, and I was interested to see what he was going to bring to the table here, and it's going to be the first non-James Gunn DCU project. I'm going to start off with the good here. I really like Millie Alcock as Supergirl. I even really liked her in Superman for that one scene that we saw her in. And I was also really excited to see a really drunk, depressed Supergirl who's completely opposite to what Superman is as a character. I think that in and of itself had me really excited. At least her performance really delivered on that. I think we got to see a lot of her being depressed and just kind of really pessimistic about the world. And I liked her performance. The writing for her character, I have a lot of issues with, which I will get into. I'm going to go into spoilers eventually. I'll let you guys know, I'll warn you. I really liked the look of the movie. Now, there's some horrible CGI as you get into the final battle in the third act, green screen issues, but generally speaking, throughout most of the movie, I think it looks really good. Cinematography is well done. It does feel a little James Gunnish. I do think that Craig Gillespie, I think he was trying to do his best James Gunn impression to some extent, and I was a little disappointed by that. I was hoping for a different flavor. You get that in parts of the movie, but then there's most of the movie which just feels very James Gunnish, which I was disappointed by. The general plot of the movie makes sense. It's a little John Wick-esque, but it just doesn't have the same emotional weight that I feel like something like John Wick has. In this movie, because of how weak the writing is and how inconsistent even Supergirl is as a character, it just makes for a very odd experience. Which is where I will go into spoilers. I am going to talk spoilers now, so if you haven't seen the movie, I would recommend not watching it. But if you're not planning on seeing it anyway and you just want to know what happens, then yeah, go for it. That's all you. Now, my biggest problem with the writing for Supergirl here is that she spends so much of this movie, I think the character's name is Krem, who kills this girl's family, this little girl. Her name's Ruthie, and he kills her family. And Supergirl spends so much of this movie telling her killing him is just gonna cause you problems. It's gonna get you jaded forever. You're not gonna feel better after it. This, that, blah, blah, blah. Just says a bunch of bullshit. You know, maybe she's a jaded character. Maybe she's trying to, become better and not let this girl Ruthie go down the same path. And then you find out about Supergirl's past and everything. And I just thought it just didn't make any sense. There's a line in the trailer, which is also in the movie, where she says, Superman sees the good in people, I see the truth. And when you get her backstory, I was watching this like, why though? What made you so? What made you give up on other people so bad? Because when you look at her backstory, obviously Krypton was destroyed, and then she was in Argo for years, and then grew up there. But even Argo had kryptonite, and then just people started dying. Whatever. I was like, okay, this is fine. This is cool. Whatever. And the way her character at least experiences things on Argo, there's nothing to get her to be jaded. Her planet's destroyed, which I understand her being depressed, but the whole idea of her not trusting other people, being jaded about other people, just doesn't make sense because everyone on their planet was just really nice. Even her parents saved her. They saved her. They got her to Earth, and then when she got to Earth, the first person she met was Superman, and Superman was like the nicest dude ever. So it makes no sense why she would be this against other people. And I just never really got over that as an issue with her character. And then, like I said, you spend so much of this movie with her being like, you can't kill him, you can't do this, and you get to the end of the movie and Supergirl kills Krem. And I found that so frustrating. Not because she killed him. I'm totally fine with it if she didn't spend so much of the movie being like, oh, killing him isn't gonna make you feel better, this, blah, blah, blah. If that didn't happen and she killed him at the end, I think it would have been great. It would have been a great payoff moment, and especially as someone that loves the John Wick movies, watching her kill the dude that hurt her dog would have been really satisfying. But the problem here is that she spent so much of the movie telling Ruthie that she shouldn't do that. When she does it, it just rings hollow. It's just like, you just spent so much. Like, Ruthie got her entire family killed. Your dog got hurt, and you were able to save your dog. Your dog is perfectly fine. But you decided to kill him. You decided to take that moment away from Ruthie, which I think was really messed up. And sure, you can be like, oh, Ruthie's a kid, like, she shouldn't kill her, like, or she shouldn't kill him. Whatever. It's not the same. It just, like, getting your entire family killed by someone and getting your dog hurt and being able to save your dog by the end of the movie, just, those things are not on the same level at all. It is really frustrating that I loved Supergirl in Superman and even throughout most of this movie, and you get to that moment and it completely undoes what her character was trying to do throughout so much of this movie, and I just got really frustrated by that. Now, if you added something to her subplot from Krypton where, on Krypton, maybe, or Argo, I guess, when, people started dying and whatever, like, people started turning on each other, killing each other for food or something. I think if something on Krypton happened that was dark, not just, oh, like, everyone died, like, sure. If something happened where people turned on each other, that's where her disdain for people comes from. Sure, I could have seen that playing out better throughout most of this movie, but because her backstory was so, normal, it was fine. It was cool. It wasn't, sure, she lost everyone on her planet, but there's nothing for her to think everyone is evil or everyone has something against her. There's just nothing like that, and I think that's what made so much of her character so frustrating for me, is her jadedness was not warranted based on her backstory. And even when you get to her killing Krem, it just didn't make sense for her character. So I was really frustrated by that. You even have a character like Lobo, who's basically just wasted in this movie. He's there for a couple of scenes and he's kind of cool. It's fun to see Jason Momoa in the role, but why is he in this movie? There's literally no story reason for him to be in this movie. And yeah, I was really annoyed by that. And I also think that for a movie like this, the supporting cast is so bad. The girl that plays Ruthie is genuinely the most annoying actress ever. I hate to say that because she's a child. Child actors, generally speaking, have a hard time in films, which is understandable. but she's so annoying. And because she's in so much of the movie and her dialogue, like 60% of the time, is the same thing, it just gets really frustrating. And I just couldn't keep up with it. I was just, I started giving up at some point. I was like, oh my God, this is so frustrating. And there's another scene where you have Ruthie who's about to kill Krem in the middle of this movie, where there's this whole thing with this family going on where they rat out Supergirl and Ruthie, and they try to Krem and his gang try to capture them. And there's this whole thing where basically they smuggle girls so they can keep their population going. They get girls and they take them to their planet and try to keep their population going, which is really dark. I really liked that. I think that's a really cool subplot. And if that was a lot more of the central story for the movie, honestly, I think that could have also made for a better story. But you get to this one scene where Ruthie is about to kill him. Supergirl stops her. And instead of keeping an eye on him, she just stops her, flies her away, and doesn't go back to Krem. Krem leaves the location, and then you have this family that's trying to save their girl, and the girl dies, the family dies, and Supergirl isn't able to do anything about it. And if Ruthie killed him in that moment, problem solved. You know, their family would be fine, like nothing, no one would have died. And you know, just the way the movie was structured, I just thought it just did none of it was really captivating. I was like, this problem could have easily been solved. Like if Krem killed that family and there's nothing Supergirl or Ruthie could have done about it, that would have been a great scene. It's like, oh, this guy's a mess. This guy's messed up. But when that happened, I just thought to myself, this is kind of Kara's fault. It's really one of those cases where there's a villain that's not redeemable at all. And there's no reason for you to be trying to save him, trying to not kill him. And I was really upset by that. I think Ruthie should have been allowed to kill Krem in the middle of the movie, but Supergirl didn't let her do that. And even at the end, when Ruthie gets the opportunity to, Supergirl took that away from her, which I just thought was really messed up. Personally, none of the villains are memorable. Nothing about this movie really stands out, and it sucks because I was, like I said, I was really excited. I really like Millie Alcock as Supergirl. I really like David Cornsweet as Superman, and Jason Momoa as Lobo could have been really interesting. But there's just so much around this movie that just felt lame. Like there's nothing I really caught on to. And for James Gunn saying, oh, we only greenlit our best scripts, we wait for our best scripts, we're not like the MCU, we don't just greenlit everything. This is their second movie, at least. It's not their second project, it's their fourth project, but it's their second movie. And they already have just, I would say, a pretty, I won't say bad, but very meh film. And there's a lot of bad things in it. Especially what they do with Supergirl as a character. I can't believe that I got to the end of this movie and I liked Supergirl less than I did based on that one scene in Superman. So yeah, guys, those are my thoughts on Supergirl. I wanted to like it so much more. For my score, I'm going to give it a 54%. Like I said, I don't hate it. I don't think it's like a really bad movie, but there's a lot of bad things in it. I think while watching it, I enjoyed it a little bit just because there's a lot of fun moments throughout it. I think it's a pretty funny movie at times. But I just think the movie really fails on a story and character level, which is really frustrating because that's where I thought it should shine, especially when you have a character like Kara in the front of it. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. Let me know down in the comments, like I said, what did you think of Supergirl if you've seen it? If you enjoyed my review, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for more content like this. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.